Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here. Just going to do a quick first impressions video on these 1911 mags that I got. Now, I got my first 1911 fairly recently, and it only came with 2 magazines, of course, like most guns come with these days. It came with 2 7-round magazines. This is, of course, a Ruger 1911 or SR 1911 CMD, which is a Commander style 1911, which I love. If you're in the market for your first 1911 or just wanting to add a 1911 to your collection, if you don't already have a Ruger, take a look at it and see what you think. But anyway, I just love that gun. But I wanted to get a few more magazines, and for whatever reason, 1911 magazines are not easy to come by in stores. Like I go into a gun shop or I go into a big box store and it's like they don't have 1911 magazines, which I don't really understand because I feel like 1911 magazines are super common because 1911 is like one of the most popular handguns in the world. But anyway, so I went to Gunbroker and recently I did a video on why you shouldn't buy magazines off of Gunbroker, but I feel like these were the better magazines that I got from Gunbroker. These are Chip McCormick 8-round 1911 magazines. Now, the reason I went with these over maybe some other brands is 1, they were a pretty good price, and 2, they were flush fit. So I'm not a huge fan of when you get like an 8-round magazine or a 9 or 10-round magazine that extends past the bottom of the gun. I'm just not a huge fan of it. It's not like a huge deal or anything, but like if I can get a flush fitting magazine, I prefer to have that. So 8-round magazine that is a flush fit in the gun is definitely a plus. So factory mags were 7-rounders. They do make 8-rounders, but they are not flush fitting. So just stick it in there, and of course it is flush fitting, as you see. Locks the slide back, and it ejects just fine. So that is definitely a good thing. So again, I like the flush fitting magazine. Does not add any extra dimension to the gun, which I absolutely love. Just a few other things about these magazines. So number 1, Chip McCormick is a pretty well-known 1911 magazine manufacturer. So you got like Wilson Combat and a few others, Metgar and Colt. Kimber, I think, has their own. Anyway, Chip McCormick is a pretty good magazine manufacturer. I feel like they're one of the better ones, at least as far as I know. But being an 8-round magazine, it does not have an anti-tilt follower. And I know with things like AR mags and some other mags, they make a big deal about anti-tilt followers. Well, this is not anti-tilt because it has to have that extra room for that extra round, and it is just a like a sheet metal follower, kind of like the Ruger follower. Now this is a patented follower, and I don't know if it's if it's a Ruger patent or if somebody else makes these magazines for Ruger and Ruger just puts their little logo on it. But these have a different kind of follower, that it is an anti-tilt follower. So it's very similar in appearance, but it actually comes down, has this little thing here that goes down and makes it an anti-tilt follower. It also has pretty good spring tension. The spring tension in the Chip McCormicks are a little less stiff. That's also probably a byproduct of the fact that this is an 8-round magazine versus a 7-round magazine. So to get that little bit of extra room, you might have to have a slightly shorter spring, I would imagine anyway. But everything else about this magazine seems pretty good. Obviously, you have witness holes here. It is stainless steel, I believe, much like the Ruger. Only the Ruger is polished, and this is more of a matte finish. So they didn't polish it, so it doesn't look as pretty, but it still seems to be a pretty good quality magazine. So anyway, those are the Chip McCormick 8-round flush fit 1911 magazines. I have not shot them yet, so I don't know if they're going to be reliable, but I imagine they will be. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody having any problems with them. But you know, some people they think that the Wilson Combats are like the gold standard in 1911 magazines, and I'm sure they are, because I'm sure, you know, Wilson Combat is a very good quality gun manufacturer and custom shop. So I imagine they would have really good magazines, but I'm sure they're a little bit more expensive than these. And these were definitely a good price. I think they were like $22 a piece. Maybe even cheaper than that. Maybe they were only like $20 a piece. I don't remember. But they were a pretty good price. And, you know, they were available because a lot of, like I said, in this current climate that we're in, magazines are kind of hard to come by, especially if you go in store. It's like, you know, everybody's got the shelves cleared off, and people want ridiculous amounts of money for not only like magazines, but guns in general. Like, you know, people are marking up the prices because, you know, supply and demand, even though there's like a huge supply of things out there, I think, anyway. But anyway, those are the Chip McCormick 1911 magazines. I'll probably do some shooting videos with them in the future if I ever get time to go out and shoot and actually bring a camera. But we'll see how well they function in this gun in the future. So subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm Redneck Mini 14, and until next time, be safe.